Hey everybody, it's time. Go get your snack, get your hydration, and get ready for Phenomenal Woman Rise Up with Terry K. Brown.
Hey everybody, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome guests to the show. My name is Terry K. Brown. I'm the host of Phenomenal Woman Rise Up, where conversations that make a difference happen all the time. I hope everybody had a great day today. I hope everybody had a great week this week. And we're going to get this show started because I have two special guests and we got a lot to talk about. And we only got an hour or so to do it, but we go longer, we can. But I just wanted you guys to know that this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to be talking about mental health, some of the aspects of mental health, some of the ways you can help deal with mental health, and also that showing you that there's help out there and there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I'm going to ask my guests, Sharonda and Alicia, to introduce yourselves. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself. Sharonda, why don't you go first?
My name is Sharonda Mason, and I have my master's in social work and also a counselor for chemical dependency. I am the owner of Unlock Our Minds, which is a business that showcases different therapy services throughout Cleveland to try to help end the stigma of mental health. So I started this company due to the clients that I was serving as working for the government and realizing that they needed representation on the therapy front. A lot of my clients, like, no one looks like me. I don't want to go to them and talk about my problems and my traumas. And they kind of empower me to go and get my master's. So I created Unlock Our Minds to do it through positive affirmation, clothing, giving out resources to show people that it is help out here, and that I can help them navigate, because anything that you try to do, especially with therapy, it could be a lot. It could be a long process. So until I start practicing my own therapy, I want to be that advocate for the people in the community to find therapy services. Whether I have to make phone calls with them or try to get them set up, I am willing to do that because it all is a stepping stone to get help in the community.
Amen, amen. And that's so needed, especially in our community.
Yeah.
And when I say our, I mean women as well as Black women. But women, really have a need for these resources, which is one of the reasons why we're doing the show today. Okay. So, Miss Alicia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Alicia. I have a master's in Christian ministry. I have a nonprofit organization named Destination Success, and it's pretty much it's online ministry for women, and then we outsource to families in different neighborhoods. And so what we do is we help with COVID, how to teach women how to handle themselves during COVID, especially while battling depression and anxiety. So we give self-care kits, resources. We also mentor their children if they need mentoring. And if their children have any mental health conditions, we also make sure that they are getting therapy, that they are getting psychiatry help, medication, whatever they need, we source them out. And we just help the family as a whole.
All right.
So that's pretty much what I do.
All right. So
yes,
I got to give y'all a hand clap of praise, because I'm telling you, that's a lot. That's a lot, because the world throws a lot at you. Being a woman, you get a lot thrown at you. If you're a mother, you get even more thrown at you. If you're a wife, you get even more thrown at you. And depression does come about just from dealing with everything and sometimes getting overwhelmed. I know I've suffered from depression. I've suffered from anxiety, and just my faith sometimes is just not enough to get me through. And that's not putting nothing down on God, because, for me, he's all powerful, but we're human. We're human, and we need a little help sometimes. And I feel that if you know where to get the help and aren't ashamed to ask for help, then the healing process can begin. Amen.
Definitely.
Amen.
Amen.
So first, before we get started talking, because I know you guys have a whole different level of conversation than what I have, I just wanted to give a definition of depression from the American Psychiatric Association. I researched this. It says major depressive disorder is a medical illness that affects how you feel, think, and behave, causing persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest in previously enjoyed activities. Depression can also lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems as well, and it's a chronic illness that usually requires long-term treatment. Now, Sharonda, how do you feel about that statement? What's been your experience with the people that you've treated or talked to regarding what they think depression is?
A lot of people just see depression as like whenever they're sad, they think, a lot of people always say, you know what, I'm sad, I'm depressed. And they may not be depressed. It may just be you are having a rough day. You may just need to breathe that day. You may not be in all of depression. And I think sometimes in our community, we kind of blanket it as one thing. Like whenever you're sad or you're going through something, you're depressed. But when you was reading that definition, all of those parts play a part. So loss of interest in things, changing of how you eat, all of that stuff is when you kind of know. I know people that will say like, you know what, I thought I was depressed before, but now I know I'm depressed because I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to eat. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. That's when they're in their depressive mode. So it's also like educating people to understand that depression is a thing that it's just a blanket thing that people say all the time. It's kind of like yep, I'm depressed, and they don't really know the meaning of depression. And then when they actually go through the depression, then they're like, oh, this is a little different. So maybe I'm really depressed. Like they think they're like severely depressed, but they can just actually be getting into their depression. Because a lot of the clients that I had, just their conversation of them not wanting to get better as far as education and getting a job in their home life, then it was kind of like, now it seems like you're going through a depression because you don't want to get better. You don't want to do anything to improve yourself. And then it's like at that point, it's kind of like a different conversation. But I think in our community, like reading that definition was awesome because I don't think that most people know the full definition of depression.
Yeah, I've found that too, that people will say, oh, I'm so sad, and they don't like the way something's going, and they want to say they're depressed. But Alicia, have you found, is there like a certain time period that you are non-functional? And I don't mean to say that you have to be non-functional to be depressed, but is there like a certain time period that clinically says you're in a depression? Have you found that with your clients?
Yes, it's usually about 2 to 3 weeks. They are piggybacking off of Sharonda. They're not sleeping. They're tired. They're saying, well, I'm just sad, a little sad today, or they're not educated on what's going on with them. So they're going about their daily lives, just not even knowing that they're depressed. Their mood is changing. They're thinking it's just a situation that's going on. And this lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks. And next thing you know, they have fallen into a real deep, dark place because they don't get the help that they need, or they don't recognize that they're depressed, or they are ashamed because of the stigma that they are depressed. So they suppress, they hide, and they just don't understand. And by the time they're in that deep, dark place, they probably have lost jobs. They probably have lost family members, friends. They've lost themselves in that altogether. So it's a lot that comes with depression, it's a lot of loss, it's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of stigma. So this segment is really amazing because it gives people a chance to understand what them or their family members are going through.
I tell you, I was a functional depressed person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Majority
like,
of people are though.
Yeah.
Yep, it's just like you can say a functional alcoholic, you can be functionally depressed. And
Yeah.
it's like that commercial, gosh, I don't know what medication that commercial is for, where the lady walks around with the sign with the little smiley face on it, and people say, "How you doing today?" And she's like,
Right.
"Oh, fine." And then the
Right.
sign, it's like, "No, I'm really not fine.
Right.
I'm not fine." And I found that some people don't want to hear that you're not fine, because then they don't know, well, what
to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what do I say if you say you're not fine? That's a general question. Well, how are you? That's just a general pleasantry. So when someone really says, you know what, I'm going through this and this is happening, then people kind of like, oh man, I done opened up a can of worms. I don't know what to say now. And just understanding, like, just listen. You may not even need to say anything. Just listen to what the person has to say, because you may be the person that they need, the first person to listen for them to vent to.
Yeah. And then we have to stop as women with the Superman mentality. Oh, I'm great. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. I'm okay. I'm stronger than I look. And all the while, everyone around you sees what's going on.
Yes.
Know that you're changing mentally, physically, and emotionally. But that person just don't want to admit it. So we have to get rid of that Superman mentality and be okay with not being okay.
It's hard. It's hard, especially for like the women who came up in the generation before me. You basically weren't even allowed to voice the fact that you didn't like something.
Right.
But then to have things, I think that as life goes on, as a woman, and you get like youth hurts, and you try to live up to expectations from your youth, and it kind of just builds on you as you get older, and as life happens, because life happens. And if you're well, then you kind of can chunk it up and throw it over there for a minute, and know that, okay, even though this is not going right in my life, I'm still a good person.
Yeah.
I still have quality. Do you find that what do you find in people who can't get past things? What is it? I mean, is it the bad childhood, or is it like a chemical disorder? What do you find most in the people who you've come across with these problems?
I think just not recognizing the resentments that you carry. So a lot of stuff from your childhood, you may resent your parents for, your siblings for, and you never address it. And then it just harbors on you, and you never really talk about the traumas and stuff you go through. I know for me, stuff that I went through as a teenager, I had resentments for years. I never talked about them until I was grown. So I carried it. I carried the same behaviors, the defense mechanisms, everything into my adult life, and didn't realize that I probably could have been better at doing things and handling things if I talked about it, if I voiced what I had to say about what was happening. And just, dealing with those resentments. Resentments is very hard, because some people, you can voice your resentment to them. They may not be ready. You could have did something bad to somebody. They may not be ready for an apology, but we have to understand that, like, addressing those resentments and dealing with that is for you. It's not for the other person. Because once you do that, you're releasing it from yourself. That's the main thing that I think that people struggle with. They don't want to come to that reality and just get it out and talk about it. And if you were wrong or someone did something wrong to you, like, really releasing it from yourself, because I think a lot of people just hold it in fear of upsetting other people, in fear of it, like, information getting out and it could damage someone else. So you try to harbor it to yourself and just say, you know what, I'm okay. You know, I'm not, as the statistics would say I am. So I'm fine. But then it plays out in your relationships, with your kids, with your employment, like everything that you do, those things from your childhood traumas will play out, and you can't recognize it until maybe after you're out of it. So I think just being honest with yourself and what is going on and realizing that, yes, this happened to me. Let me address it. Even if it's let me write it down. Let me tell someone about it, just to release it. Because we as Black women and as women, period, we hold so much stuff in fear of judgment from people. And I think that is what just holds heavy on our hearts.
Yeah, do you agree, Alicia, with that?
I wholeheartedly agree. I think we as women have to get to the point in our lives where we allow ourselves to heal so we can be better people.
Mm-hmm.
And once that healing process begin, and people don't understand, once the healing process begin, the depression, it lightens up some. It lessens the load that and the darkness, but you still battle. But that part of your life is being dealt with, and that healing, and you're going forth in things you never went forth before. And so you're finding yourself, you're battling depression, but you're in this whole new world, and it's great because you're healed.
Yeah.
So we have to get to a place of healing.
Yes. Yes.
And I was talking to someone else, and they were talking about, you know, what we portray is the beauty part of healing. Oh, I'm dressing better. I got my hair done. I'm looking good. I lost a little weight. But nobody talks about that ugly healing, that crying in your bed, that under the covers, that breakdown. You know, maybe you just break down on your knees and pray to God. You know, no one talks about that part of healing, which is the ugly part. But that's what's going to help you get to that other part where you can say, hey, I look good today. I done lost a little weight. Now I'm feeling myself a little bit. You know, that's the part that everyone sees. But we don't talk about that ugly part.
Yeah. It's like your countenance just changes when you can release some things. And a lot of people don't have anyone to release this to, so you do carry it around. And like you said about some people feeling ashamed, and you know, I've had people tell me a lot of times, you know, you're so strong, and you know, I wish I could be strong like you. And it's like, okay, like you said, you don't see me when I'm crying at night. I remember when my girls were little. This is just a transparent moment here because I know I'm gonna help somebody. I was a single mom. I was married, and I was a single mom, and struggling, working this job, that job, taking jobs just for the money, not thinking about the further along the road. And sometimes when you take jobs like that, they work you to death. You get burnt out. You don't take care of yourself. And I used to get in the shower and cry because I didn't want to see my girls to see me crying. You know, I used to just feel like nothing I did was good enough. You know, even though every day that you wake up, you've accomplished something that the people who didn't wake up that day. It was their time. It wasn't yours. So that thought process never came through my mind. I just would wake up thinking, okay, it's another day. I hope I can make it. I hope I can struggle through this day. And I used to cry in the shower because I didn't want my daughters to think I was weak. Instead of thinking it's okay for them to see mom cry. You know, I'm human. And so I think I've raised daughters who think they're supposed to cry in the shower. You know, it's like, okay, it's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out. It's a release. It's something God gave us to do for a reason, you know, and it's like carrying on for years, holding all that in and not being able to release it in a healthy way kind of perpetuated the problem with me. I mean, I'm just being honest. It took, like, I went through 3 years of counseling, finally found a good counselor because I went through like 3 or 4 that I couldn't connect to, like you were saying, Sharonda, people that didn't look like me. hadn't experienced some of the things I've experienced, or thought badly about some of the things I experienced, or blame me for some of the things I've experienced, or and when I found a counselor that I connected to, it's not like she was so much like me, it's that she understood the assignment, as they say.
Yes.
She understood the assignment and took her time with me. She didn't have to meet any type of medical reimbursement milestones, and that's what I think is real important. And I'd like for us to talk about that, the importance of finding someone to release some things to, so that they can help you rebuild you to become the woman that you were meant to be. Because everybody has some values. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody falls down and gets up. Everybody needs something or someone to help them through when they've gone down. Sometimes you just can't pick yourself up all the time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with getting someone who has been either trained, or that's their ministry, or sent from God, or just been where you've been and doesn't mind taking the time to talk to. So I put all that out there to get y'all's feedback on if you've known someone that's gone through, or if you have, enlighten the listeners about the blessing of getting it out, and getting it out in the right environment with the right person, and how it can help.
I think therapy is necessary. It is a must. It is critical if the person wants to heal, if the woman wants to heal. And finding a good therapist sometimes is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Yeah. But once you find that therapist, oh my goodness, it becomes an amazing journey. Just giving a little example, I'm in therapy, and the therapist I have, thank God that I found this person just the first time I was looking for someone. I really didn't have to search. But when it comes to others, I find myself having to search and search and search. But it's about wanting to have that therapy. It's about wanting to have that healing, forgetting about the stigma, forget what people are saying about you, and just go ahead and get the therapy done. And I had a hard time. My first few weeks in therapy was very, very hard for me. For one, I had to unwrap some trauma. For two, I had to come to the realization that, Alicia, you battle depression and anxiety, and you no longer function like you used to. That was killing me. And so in that, and I told Terry Kay this in a previous conversation, in that, my therapist was like, I need you to do this. I need you to find the gift in depression and what you're going through. And I'm like, well, what's the gift? I don't have it. I mean, I was resisting everything he was saying. And he was like, I need you to find the gift, because the life you used to live, you can't live that life no more. God has put you into a new place. And so you have to find the gift in that new place. And once I got off the phone with him, I thought about it, and I cried and I cried. I cried those hard crocodile on the floor, holding your stomach tears, because I had to find the gift in where I am now. And a lot of women, because of the trauma, because of pain, because of stigma, because of life, it's hard to find the gift in the struggle. And so I finally found my gift, and my gift is helping women like me, helping children like me. And so now that I found the gift, and I'm cultivating the gift, and I am allowing God to show me that, yes, you can live beyond your pain. Yes. It's not a easy ride, but it's becoming a better ride, if you will.
Definitely.
What you think about that?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful when you can find that. I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday that said, they've been through 5 different people to try to find a therapist. And I think that is the reason why it's stigmatized as well, because, you try something once and it don't work, you be ready to give up. You like, yep, no, it ain't for me. Therapy ain't for me. See, I tried to go to therapy. Guess what happened? That person was horrible. Therapy not for me. But I was having this conversation, and I'm like, you have to interview your therapist. You have
Yes.
to
Yes.
see if they mesh with you. If they don't mesh with you, it's not gonna work. You're not gonna be vulnerable with them. You're not gonna talk to them. You're not gonna do any of that. You're gonna be so closed up. It's gonna be like watching the clock. Let me finish this hour and be
Mm-hmm.
done. And you can't get to that healing, Alicia, like you said, or get to that place where you find yourself because you're gonna be holding back. I know I try to go into therapy. We have one through our employment. And once, they do the interview questions, what degree do you have? What level of education? This. Once I told her what I had, it seemed like it all shifted. Like, oh, you should know how to handle yourself. You should know what's going on. And I talked to her, after we did all the questions. And like the next time I talked to her, she asked me, how are you? And I kind of hesitated. And she was like, oh, well, it sounds like you're doing great. So we'll schedule another appointment in a month. Like, and that was it. And I was like, wow,
Hmm.
it was just eye opening. Like, so because I have this background, you're ready to if I just say I'm okay, you're just ready to ship me off to another appointment. We haven't even been on the phone 10 minutes, and not even recognizing the hesitation in my voice that, something may be wrong. So I tell people, like, don't get discouraged, because it's easy to get discouraged when you're going through something and you want to find that person to help you get through what you're going through, and they kind of like brush you off. And it's kind of like, it's a deterrent, really. Because this guy that was talking yesterday at my event, that's what he was saying. He's kind of turned off. Like, he wants the help, but he hasn't found it yet because the therapist that he had either judged him for, what he was talking about. And it could have been something that was like near and dear to them that may have happened to them, but they have to realize it. Finding genuine therapists and finding their energy that they have. That energy is everything. If you go in there and they're dull, they're not smiling, they just not bringing that good energy, you're not gonna want to talk to them. You're not gonna have that same, like, well, let me see, let me be open, any of that. If they giving you dry vibes, you're gonna
Mm.
give them back the same dryness, the same like, oh, you don't care, I don't care type of thing. And that's what we really have to get out here in the community. Like, people that are passionate about really trying to help people, really not just trying to do it because, like you said, medical, let me check off the medical boxes to say, you did this, you're at this point in 6 months, everybody may not be at that point in 6 months. It may take them 3 months to even get to where they were supposed to be at a month ago.
Right.
It depends on the person. So it's really like a thing that we have to keep pushing, like, keep trying.
Yes.
Don't give up on finding a therapist. Because I do have some people say, you know what, I found the right person right away and it was awesome. And then you hear those horror stories of people saying, I've been searching, and I haven't found the right one yet. But we have to keep encouraging people, especially women, because we go through a lot, to keep going, to keep trying. It's just like if you went to a medical doctor. If you have a gynecologist and you go to that one, you don't like it, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go get another gynecologist. If you don't like that one, you're going to go to another one. You're going to go to a different hospital. We got to do that same thing when it comes to behavioral health and mental health. We have to do the same thing. Keep pushing. Get that second opinion. Don't just settle for just one person telling you one thing and deterring you or making you feel like it's not valuable and then just give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm telling you, like I said, I've been to a couple different counselors, and it's hard to, especially if you've lived a little, it's hard to open up and start talking about, well, they said, well, what's going on? And it's like, well, okay, there's a lot going on.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on. I don't know where to start, and if you're going to counseling and the person allows you to just get comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
you'll start talking about what's most important on your heart right away. And that's, like you said, that's what you have to find. You have to find the vibe between you and that person. And if it's not there, it's just not there. It's not your fault. It's not their fault. But you have to be able to be yourself enough to dive deep down, because the anxiety and the depression that gets you to the point where you're not handling it very well is deep. Yeah, it's not something that you could just say, okay, well, this is bothering me and I want to fix it and then I'll be better. It's never just that. It's always something a little deeper, and you got to peel those layers like an onion off to get down to it. Because I'm telling you, when I finally got down to what was really going on with me and how I felt about things that were happening in my life, I sat there and I just put my head down, and I think it was probably because it's only supposed to be about an hour. So I think it was maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours that day. Because I cried for about an hour. And my counselor gave me water, gave me tissues, gave me those nice cushy mints that you can chew, not the hard ones, the ones that you can chew, and just kept giving it to me and sat there. She wasn't staring at me like I was crazy. She sat there and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She said, that's okay. I got tissue, I have water, and I have mints. She said, you need to purge it.
Yeah.
You need to purge it. Go right ahead. She said, you got to get it out. I was like, I don't even know why I'm still crying. She said, go ahead. Yeah, because it's like you have to, when you can when I finally was able to release everything and stop, blaming everybody or blaming myself or wondering why, and then I got to release things, then it was a chance for me to start working on me, which you were talking about, Alicia, that the work always has to be from within. And when I had released all that, I couldn't believe. I said, did you have another appointment? And I remember she told me, she said, no. She said, I knew. She said, I could see it coming with you. She said, I did not schedule anything else today. She said, because I could feel it from the last time we talked, because I was going about 3 days a week at this point. And she said, I could feel it coming with you. And I knew you had to purge it. And I was like, wow, but it was so good. It was so good. And the healing process started, and I'm not perfect now, and I don't think anybody ever is, but I just would like some people to understand that there is a process and it can start. But like you said, Alicia, you have to be willing.
Yes.
You have to be, and you cannot be ashamed. You cannot, and for me, I just feel like, hey, I mean, I'm not prideful, but I felt like I had to maintain my composure and keep it together. But yet, that's not the way it is. That's not the way you're going to heal. And I don't want to keep going on talking about myself because it'll be a 3-hour show. But I just, I'm just glad that you ladies have experienced other people, and you're getting the information out about what people should expect. If what you're going through is you're not the only person. This is how it builds up on you. And this is what you've heard from people, and they say, I can't do this, I can't do that. You can. And there has to be more people who are willing to help than we have in our community. I can't express it more than often, and the church, God bless the church, but we're the church. That church building, they have, some of them have certain measures they have to go, rituals they have to go, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people sitting on the pew that love the Lord, praise God, and they still feel like they have no one to go to.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I'm not putting down the church, but you all know what I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's Pastor Kyle Early that's here in Cleveland. He is doing it's called Mentally Mangled on Tuesday. And it is for the church community. It's for the pastors to get together and realize like the importance of mental health and how it affects the congregation.
Wow.
Because the pastors don't really, they're going by the Bible. Some pastors are just pray it out. You're gonna figure it out. But he's really big on mental health. So he is calling pastors together to like meet and figure out like how they can help their congregation when it comes to mental health outside of just the praying aspect.
Wow.
So I'm excited because I'm gonna go to that on Tuesday.
Now who is this and where is it at and what time?
So you had to do registration for it. So the registration ended.
Okay.
But his name is Pastor Kyle Early. And he is doing, I know it's probably going to be posted somewhere. But he is doing an event at Mount Sinai Church on Tuesday. And it's like an all day event. It's like 8:30 to I think like 4. So I'm talking about workshops and all type of things that he's doing with the pastors to get this information out to them to be able to help the congregation. And I think that is going to be powerful. Like this first one, I can already see another one coming about because a lot of people do go to pastors and expect them to be that therapist to them. Mm-hmm. And if they don't understand that mental health world, you just tell them to pray about it. It's just they're going to go home and they're going to still have the same feelings, the same anger, maybe the same sadness, the same anxiety, because if we don't know, if you go to your pastor and they're telling you to pray and then you're praying and nothing is happening, that jades people too. Like, well, maybe the Lord not hearing me. And it's not that, it's the extra work you have to do outside of the prayer. So I think it's going to be very, very powerful once this is his first one that he's doing. I already can see another one. I can see other pastors jumping on board because that's going to be essential to like our community.
Cool. I'm gonna look that up and hopefully post on the Phenomenal Woman Facebook page future events if they come up. I know you said this one is already booked.
Yeah, it's closed. Yeah. But so I would definitely let you know because he has a nonprofit. I think it's a movement, not a. Let me look it up.
Okay.
But he does a lot around mental health, and that's what drew me to him because he is very big on advocating for it. And when he put that event together, I'm like, oh my goodness. Do you know how powerful that's going to be for pastors to get together and have this candid conversation and understand the importance of this mental health and how many people come into the church that, like you said, they're sitting on that front row and got a whole bunch of demons inside that you can't just pray out or stuff that they need to deal with. Yeah. And it is we all need to be educated, everybody, family members, everyone, because if people don't know what it looks like or what someone could be like the signs of things, then everyone says, oh, you just being crazy, you just being dramatic, you'll be okay, and brushing it off and not knowing this person really, really may be struggling. And not even realizing like how important it is to kind of tap into these people that need that extra love.
Yeah. And speaking real quick, speaking about how depression may present, I looked this up also. They said that not only can you have a persistent depressed mood or loss of interest, but you can have insomnia or hypersomnia. So you can not be able to sleep, or you could be sleeping all the time, or you could have weight gain or weight loss, or increase in appetite. Eat. I know when I get anxious and my anxiety gets bad, I eat. I used to drink. But now I eat. And I'm serious. And it's psychomotor agitation and psychomotor retardation. And that's a whole different, I'm sure y'all know about that because y'all are educated in these things. But fatigue or loss of energy, feelings of worthlessness, and excessive or inappropriate guilt. Lord have mercy. I'm telling you, diminished ability to think or concentrate, or indecisiveness, or reoccurring thoughts of death or suicide, and even worse, a suicide attempt. That's how that. Go ahead,
It's
Lisa.
a monster. It's a monster. Out of those 8 that you named, I deal with on a daily basis maybe 6 of these symptoms. And you have to learn how to alter your life to where it no longer accommodates other people, but it accommodates you. And I had to learn to say no. I had to learn to say, I can't do this. I won't do this. I can't go here. I can't go there, because people will become angry with you because you said no, or you can't go here or there, because they're not educated, because they don't understand that I haven't slept in 3 days, or I just can't get out the bed. Like, there are days where I can barely make it to the bathroom. And there are days where brushing my teeth takes so much out of me. So it's a must. It's critical that we become educated, because our loved ones are suffering because people are uneducated. The church is suffering because the pastors and the deacons and the church as a whole is not educated. And just to piggyback a little bit off the church, the first thing they say is, you've lost your faith. No, I have not lost my faith. I've lost myself. I'm depressed. I have anxiety. I haven't slept in 3 or 4 days. I don't eat, or I eat too much. I'm tired. I barely made it to church today. So we have to get out of that religious thinking and get into reality. This is the world. Without therapy, without psychiatrists, without God, we cannot succeed in this thing.
Definitely.
So but I'll end there. But as it relates to the symptoms, it's a monster. It's a monster. So I've learned to alter my life to where it accommodates me. I work from home. I'm to the point where I'm trying to get back out of the house, but everything I do, if I can't get out the bed, I bring it in the bed with me, because it got to get done. And I had to get to the mindset that, Alicia, just because you can't get out of bed does not mean nothing can't get done. Let's get these goals together. Let's set them and let's get them done. And I get them done. Do I always do it? No. But what I can't do, I do not make myself feel bad about it. And what I can do, I make sure I reward myself for it. So it's a lot with it. It's a lot having depression and anxiety, and it's a lot with helping other people with depression and anxiety, because you not only do the psychiatrists and the therapists have to break through the trauma and the pain and the darkness, we have to do that as well.
Yes.
So it's a rough road for us, but we got it. We're gonna make it. Yeah,
definitely. And it's for y'all creating those boundaries. That is hard. When you have people pleasing people like me that want to make sure everybody is okay, and I'm here for everybody, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and it gets overwhelming. It will be times where I'll be going through a lot, and I will just lay in my bed all day, and people like, well, you just do a lot, so you just tired. No, I'm mentally drained. I'm depressed about different things that I feel I should have going on, and that is where I'm at. But in the past, people say, "Oh, you just being dramatic," or you're not really depressed because you go and do 10,000 things in a week. Just because I did 10,000 things in a week don't mean that I'm not struggling, that I'm not watching a TV show and break down crying because it reminds me of something that I've been through or something that's going on. and people don't understand that it can show up in different ways. So like when you said that highly functioning, I was at a point where I was highly functioning. I would go to work, I would do stuff for other people, I would be moving. And when I would have my times where I just needed to like just lay, I would lay on my bed all weekend and just be in the bed. Because people are like, how do you and you have to practice that self-care. Because once I started realizing, like, I have to make time for myself. I can't do everything for everybody. I have to align my schedule to accommodate me. Like you said, Alicia, making it for you and not for everybody else. Because once I started doing that, I seen a difference because it was like I was getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And when you get overwhelmed, it's like everything come crashing down. If you don't get one or two things done, then you feel like you failed because you tried to do everything at one time.
Yes.
And it could be a lot on a person, especially when I get anxiety about different things that I have going on. Like, because in my mind, everything is supposed to go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So when that boom, boom crack happened, and then I got to go back, and then it say boom, I'm struggling in between there because I already have anxiety that this may not work. This may not happen. This could go wrong. This could go. So much be going on in my mind where I may not sleep. I sleep and I'm dreaming of things that I have to do the next day. I will wake up with a whole agenda in my head for the day. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't really get no sleep last night because I didn't woke up. I couldn't have been in a good sound sleep if I have a whole agenda in my head of what I need to do. Like I would literally wake up and be like, I gotta go do this. And it's like, was I asleep? I got everything in my head that I need to do, and it's like I'm always constantly thinking. What I started doing sometimes is on YouTube I'll find like some rain music, or like the meditative type of sounds, and I would play that sometimes, and I would just try to turn my mind off. I'll just get quiet and I would meditate, especially when it would be times when my mind would be going for 2 or 3 days. I'm like, okay, I gotta reel it back in before I like spiral, because I had to figure that out on my own to make myself sleep and be able to have peace when I wake up and not be already mentally drained when I wake up because I'm overthinking in my sleep. And a lot of times as mothers, we're doing, okay, the kids have to go here. I have to do this. I got to go to work. If you got a business, I got to do this in my business. You may have a business idea in the middle of the night. You waking up, now you writing stuff down. You be up. You be up and down. It'd be like, oh my goodness. Like I had to take my journal that I write my business ideas out of my bed.
Oh, wow.
Because I would have it right next to me. I would have books, journals, all type of stuff about my business or when I was in school. It'll be all next to me. So if I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about something, I would instantly go to that. Now my sleep is broken. Now I finally fall back to sleep, and then my alarm going off in an hour. Now I'm exhausted because I didn't get enough sleep because I'm sitting here trying to work on some stuff in the middle of the night because it just popped in my mind.
Oh my God.
So it's that trying to figure out, like, listen, you got to turn that brain off at night. Yeah. And it's easier said than done. I swear. I struggle still sometimes. Like, you know what? I have to try to do something to turn my brain off because it would drive you crazy. So Pastor Cowell's it's called "It's a Moment, Not a Movement."
Wow.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. He does so much work around just community work. And that's it's a moment. It's not a moment, it's a movement.
Okay.
And he's the pastor of City of God, Cleveland. And it's off of 52nd.
I've heard of that.
But yeah, and he does. He's out in the community about mental health, everything. Like he is very hands-on. So like I said, that mentally mango, I'm just excited how that's gonna pan out on Tuesday. I'm like, whatever y'all need, I'll call off work. I'm gonna take vacation.
Hey,
I know that's right.
I want to be. I got vacation time to take. You can't tell me how to spend my vacation, but I'm gonna spend my vacation with these pastors and just to see how they view mental health in the churches.
Yeah.
Because like the people that's in the community that's helping the people, now we have another perspective, another outlook on how we can service people that's going into the churches. And get them out of the I just need my pastor and that's it. Because we struggle.
Yes.
So much.
Yes, this is so true. You know, I get, you know, these conversations like get going and there's so much to say. And I just really am excited to find out that there is help out there. That this thing with this movement, okay, I'm going to look into that. Y'all going to hear more about that.
Yes.
And the fact that, Sharonda, you had an event yesterday. Alicia, you just got your coaching certificate.
Yes.
I just want, yes, let's get some clap. I'll learn how to do sound effects next time. But I want you to tell her, because we're getting close to the end, and I want you guys to put everything that you are out there. And then at the end, there's also going to be credits with you all's information on it. But Alicia, tell us what you do with that and how people, what services you offer and how people can get in touch with you and what to look forward to coming from you.
Well, since I just graduated, I'm still in the process of getting everything together. But as a whole, I will be working with women who battle depression, anxiety. We'll be working on self-care. We'll be working on mental health issues and how to live beyond mental health, how to handle different situations in life without allowing it to take us to a dark place. Just self-love, just how to interact with people, because sometimes we lose ourselves. We forget how to interact with people because we're so closed off. We're so into our pain and what we're going through that we forget how to communicate. And not only that, but to learn to say I'm not okay. Learn to say that big no. And just teaching women how to live, because some of us don't know how to live beyond depression. They're just stuck. You know, as Sharonda said, they're just day to day, just doing life. And we got to get out of the mindset of doing life. We have to do the work with the psychiatrist, with the therapist, with the medication. But there's also work that we have to do to maintain our household, our marriages, our friendships. So yeah, that's in the coaching, the mental health coaching, that would teach women how to do all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So you guys, Alicia has on Facebook Destination Success.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I forgot about that. That's that's my online ministry as it relates to depression and anxiety. I feel I can reach women online because, like myself, not wanting to go out of the house, sometimes not wanting to interact with people, and just not being able to get out the bed, I can click on my laptop and say, Alicia's on. She's giving a good word today, or she's encouraging me today, or she's teaching me about God and depression today. So that's what Destination Success is about. We are 685 women strong, so I'm excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yes, I have a weekly Bible study, a weekly matters of the heart, where we talk about different issues, but it's always centered around depression and anxiety. And so not only that, but the women have total access to me. They can call, they can inbox. I'm up all night helping women. Some are suicidal, some are just having issues and they're in a dark place. So it's not just an online thing, it's also personal. it's a one-on-one type of thing. So when you are battling depression, anxiety, and you don't have total access to someone and you're in a dark place, it's like that place gets darker.
Yeah.
And then because I'm not a professional, I'm trained, but I'm not a professional, I know how to talk the person down. I've been trained in mental health, first aid and all of that, so I can give you resources and everything. So Destination Success is amazing. And thank you, Tara K, for not letting me forget that.
I tell you, sometimes I'll look at your posts and it's like hitting me right there. You know, it's like, oh man, I'll put my 100, and like, a lady that's dancing or get to running, because like I said, when you feel like you're on an island by yourself in your depression or in your anxiety, or, you know, like you said, Sharonda, I'll think of all night long. I'll wake up. If I blink my eyes or turn over, I'm awake. And it's like my mind starts going. And when I read the post, I'm like, oh man, that is me. Hallelujah. I'm not the only one. Okay. And there is victory beyond this and what I'm feeling right now. So that's why I was like, remember that thing you do?
And that was the gift in that, you know, just because I was out in the community before 2019. And that's when the depression hit real bad. But I was out in the community. I was out in the schools. And so the gift is, okay, you can't go out no more, but you can still reach the people. There's technology, there's social media. There are people who are out here crying out and they're in their house stuck. You can reach them. So that was my gift in that.
Yes. Now, Miss Sharonda, I know you have a gift too. And I met Sharonda. I went to the Big Bosses breakfast that Jamaica Parrish had down at the Metropolitan 9. And I came across your display about mental health and journaling. We didn't even get to talk about that, so that might be another show. But it's the fact that, you know, first of all, like you said, the vibe I got from you was just so authentic. And I felt that you're really, truly invested in helping people understand the importance of their mental health and taking it as a priority. And then I looked at your card and it says it right on your card. Mental
health is a priority. That is my tag.
Tell us about the kind of things that you got coming up and your event yesterday, and just let people know how you can help.
So yesterday I did my first mental health event with 2 co-hosts. So we did it at the Caledonia Community Center. So we had vendors, and all the vendors were dealing with wellness or fitness, or we had like a jewelry vendor. So, you know, women always love to buy jewelry. So we definitely had a variety of vendors. We didn't want to oversaturate the vendors just because we wanted people to have different things for wellness. We did a panel discussion where we had me and another therapist. We had a community leader. His name is Walter Payton. He does ghetto therapy every Wednesday on 46 in Euclid from 6 to 8. I met him last year doing a panel, and I've watched this man over this last year. He is very big on mental health and very big on just changing like the violence and in the communities and recognizing that we need help, we need therapy. It's not normal for us to see these type of things. I had a young lady, she's a wellness coach, but with the wellness, she does spiritual and mental. How to teach young ladies how to eat better. So we had a variety of people on the panel to be able to give different perspectives, and we had the audience kind of like chime in. So it was like a candid conversation and it's very needed, because a lot of people feel, you know, when you have a panel, it's like, okay, I'm listening to these people talk, but chime in, tell us what we think, because you're out in the community, you're dealing with it. You know, we may have one perspective because we're educated in it. What are you seeing? What are you going through out in the community? And what are you facing, so that we could be more aware? And then we did an open mic session where people could come and either sing or rap or do poetry.
I saw that.
And the people that I picked, the two main people that I picked, Nat, I can't say her name. Nazi is real. Oh, I cannot remember how to say her name, but it's on my page. But she does like a spoken word type of rap, and it's all about things she's been through in her life.
Wow.
So it's so intriguing because my son seen her at Ghetto Therapy maybe the end of last year, and he was like, I like what she was saying. Like, she appealed to him, and he's 12.
Okay.
But her words and her message behind her words are so powerful that I had to have her on. And then I had a gentleman named Wall Street West that does that in the community. He's big on poetry and talking about mental health as well. So I had him, he does open mics around the city. So I had him come in and kind of be the host of the open mic, because that is what he do in the community. And he just had like a candid conversation. So we had some people that hung out with me all day yesterday from 12 to 5. They was there. They were shopping, because shopping was upstairs. You can go in the basement where we relaxing. People were having conversations with each other, like in between the different events that were going on. And it was a really good time. It was more than what I expected for my first mental health event, because people were comfortable. Cool. It wasn't like strenuous, like, okay, it's A, B, C, D, and that's it. You know, people were open. They were talking about life experiences. They were asking questions. They was having conversation with other people. And that's kind of what we wanted it to be about. You know, people just hanging around each other and talking about the traumas they've been through, the mental health issues that they've seen in their self or their family or their friends, and, you know, getting different people's perspectives. So that is what we did yesterday, which was awesome. So a young man approached me and was like, you should do this every month. I'm like, oh, that's a lot to do every month. I definitely will make this an annual thing. But I was like, you know, he got my mind thinking about October, because it's a mental health day in October. Okay. And that's Suicide Prevention Month in October. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll do something similar. Maybe I just won't do a vendors. Maybe I'll just do something with like a panel with open mic and spoken word or something like that, just to get people out and talking with each other. So he kind of was picking my brain yesterday about that. But it was just good to sit and have those conversations with people and be able to say, you know, like, we need this. Like, this is what we need in our community, because he didn't even know that May was the month around mental health wellness. He like, well, when did this start? This started in the night. I think it was like 1949 or 1930.
Wow, really?
Yes. And I'm like, you know, in our community, we didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we don't, like, now it's a trend. Oh, this month is national this week is national this. Now it's becoming a trend of all the different little months and what they signify. But in the past, we didn't talk about stuff like that. We didn't go into learning about, okay, this is mental health month and we need to be aware. Yeah. You know, the major big corporations would do things around it. But as a community leaders and therapists, we weren't putting it out there as much. Because I told somebody, if I would have knew all these Black women that are therapists, I probably wouldn't have never went to school. I would have shuffled my clients right to them and said, hey, I found out somebody that looked like y'all. I would have never took that additional step, because I would have seen it. But now that I've been in the community and once I graduated and started meeting people and networking with people, I'm like, it's so many dope women out here that are in therapy that I didn't even know about. That some do private practice, some are at places. Yeah. And it's like, we need to get this information out here where these people are. And maybe it'll start changing the dynamic of people getting therapy services. So that's what my push is to get people to know where to go, who to contact, Some people are not into, they may not be into going to therapy, individual therapy. I tell people go to ghetto therapy on Wednesday, 6 to 8. Everybody is welcome. And it's a mix of people. It's men. It's a lot of men because one of the co-hosts of it is a man
Mm-hmm.
from down the way in the projects. So he have a lot of men coming from his where he grew up at, coming in there, getting information, getting resources, and letting them be able to tell or help each other. It's just a mix of different people, which is awesome because some people may not, but if you come in there and get that different healing from talking, and it's always therapists on site there. So if someone gets triggered, they have someone that they can immediately talk to at that point.
Yeah.
So I tell people it's stuff out here that you could kind of get your mind, going and kind of help you start healing. And then when you get to that point where you really want to take that step forward, then you'll be ready even more because
Mhm.
now you're starting the pre-work
Yeah.
of dealing with your issues and what you need to do for mental health. So, and that's what we were talking at the event. I was talking about the journaling aspect
Mm-hmm.
of if you're not ready to talk to a therapist, then journal your thoughts, good days, bad days, in between days, even if you want to release it and burn it up after you finish it. Or if you want to keep that journal and read it a month from now and say, you know what, I've came a long way
Yes.
in this month. So I have something to celebrate because now I am further than what I thought I could not get out of.
Huh?
And reading like, okay, I had last month I thought I had like half the month I had bad days. You go back in your journal and realize I only had 4 or 5 bad days.
Yeah.
And just really reflecting on what you have going on. And it's just another way to release your thoughts and different things like that. And I'm hosting a paint and heal next Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And it's on Eventbrite. It says 616 East 185th. And what we basically do, I don't give a standard picture for people to paint. I have stencils that people can use, but it's a free for all. So whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling, and then I give a session for an hour of people that want to come up and tell their stories.
Oh,
So it's a safe place. They can tell
Good.
their stories, get support. I had a lady that came in and said she hasn't been out the house in months because she got like PTSD from an accident she was in.
mm-hmm.
And seeing her there, she was one of my mother friends, and I was just like, I would have never knew. And she came in, she was smiling, she was having a good time. Everyone was talking. It was a mix of people. It was children, it was teenagers, it were, young adults, it was older women, 60, 70. It was just a mix of people. So it wasn't like it was just one set of demographic. It was a mix. And we just had music playing and everyone was talking to each other and just being able to have those people come up and tell their story and get, the courage to say, you know what, I've been through that same thing or I understand. And people going up and hugging the lady that's like, basically I've had PTSD and just giving her encouraging words. That was something that I really wanted to get out of that, to have that safe space for
Yeah.
people to be able to heal together. Because that healing aspect is so important. So that's like the next event that I have. And then I'm taking a break for the month of June.
So, what is your site that people can go on to find this kind of information? Do you have a site they can go on or a Facebook page
um,
or something?
they can go on my Instagram page. It's Unlock Our Minds One. So I have the Eventbrite link in my bio if they want to come to the Paint and Heal. But all of the other like programs and stuff, they are on my Instagram page. I'm getting better with doing it on my Facebook page, my Unlock Our Minds boutique. But a lot of my stuff is on my Instagram page, and I share other resources too of other people like ghetto therapy. I'll put it in my story. A young lady, Maisha, she does healing with my homegirls once a month.
Okay.
Yeah, so I post that because I was so sad I missed it Saturday because it was the same day. But it was so powerful. It's for women to come to and have candid conversations and talk about the healing. The first time I went, I left there crying. I was smiling and we was talking, but that drive home and that reflecting, I was just crying, driving all the way home. Like, you know what? I needed that, and I didn't even know I needed it until I left and we were talking about different things and people were giving their stories. So it's so much stuff out here now that people can come to and get some type of like refreshing feeling, and not feel like, I mean, therapy is needed. Therapy is the best way to go. But until you get to that point and take those baby steps to go to different things that's going on around the city, to just help them get to that point. But I do have a website. On my website, it just has a list of therapy services on www.unlockourmindsllc.com. It just has a list of different therapy services that I have. And Alicia, I would love for you to send me that information. I want to put that destination success on there for people that I know that struggle like that. I know a young lady in particular right now that I'm definitely going to send that to, because she contacts me sometimes about different things, but I think her having that daily tap in and seeing that, I think that would do wonders for her. Because honestly, I get busy with work during the day, so I don't have that, that time. But I'm definitely going to send her your information because I think she would really benefit from that.
Okay, awesome. Yes, definitely.
Ooh, there's gonna be some healing going on up in here. See, this is what I'm talking about. Now I'm gonna get all this information, you guys, and put on the Phenomenal Woman website too. Not website, Facebook page. I haven't got that far on the website, but I just, I'll shout it out to you guys when after the show's over. We'll take care of that. But look, I want to thank both of you all for coming on today because this is needed. This is information, and knowledge is power. Okay. If you don't know, you won't be able to go forward. Now that you know, people, take advantage. Take advantage. And some of these events that Sharonda was talking about and Alicia's destination to success, and everything that's going on is going to be promoted through my venues, my Women at the Well group. It's that's another group that you can get joined through Phenomenal Woman Rise Up. It's just women, and if you can't offer any positivity, don't even answer the questions and join because there's enough negativity in the world. But there's so many women like you all have so much to offer, and that's a place to offer it also. But just to close out, I want you guys to understand that you are not alone. You are not alone in anything you are going through. Please do not shed tears by yourself, but for so long. Now, sometimes you just have to release by yourself because you and God only know what you are feeling. But sometimes you need to get into a group of women who understand, or a group of men who understand, or even just a group of people who have gone through what you've gone through, so that you can hear the story that's similar to yours, so that you can learn how to take the steps to get to where you need to be. Because everybody is different, but generally we are all the same, and you cannot make it by yourself sometimes. Most of the time, you cannot make it through a challenge without some type of education about it, some type of encouragement to help you understand that there's steps you have to take and that they can be successful. Because like you guys both said, some people feel like it's just the way it is. I have to go through it, but it's not always going to be that way. There are success stories every minute of the day, and you can get help. And this is why I said I wanted to do this show today, piggybacking off of last week. I've got so many people who said, "Oh my gosh, no one ever talks about that toxic relationship." It doesn't make either person a bad person. It's just knowing that this is what's going on. These are some steps. If you have depression, anxiety, suffer from a mental illness, if you're on medication for your illness and the medication is not working, get some help. Like you said, Sharonda, if you go to the doctor, get a second opinion. Don't just assume that it's not working for you, because everybody has a different path to go. But some people have been down your road and can help you along. So that's what you kind of have to seek out sometimes. Amen, everybody?
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. All right. So I just want you guys to just know that I appreciate you, because a lot of people just don't want to talk about these things. And for you guys to have been so transparent, because I know I am, because I had a friend tell me, "Girl, you talk too much about stuff." I'm like, no, because I still can't believe that I'm talking with good sense in my head, because I've been through, I've been through. I'm a woman of age, which I never thought I would be. I like living my life, I'm glad I made it through. All right, because there were many days that I took a temporary situation and thought it was permanent. And it's just not like that. They say don't make a permanent decision about a temporary situation. Okay?
Definitely.
Yep.
So bless y'all. I'm going to have your credits at the end of this show, but I'm also going to post all this information so people can check out Sharonda Mason on Unlock Our Minds, LLC, Alicia on Destination Success, and get that information, okay?
Okay.
All right, y'all take care. Have a great rest of your evening, all right?
You
All right.
will. Thank you.
You too. Thank you
For joining me tonight.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.